usual, we figured we'd have dinner, talk about, we'll talk about some of the transactions we did. Um, we'll talk about a few different things, not just transactions, but really we wanted to say thank you. Um, when we look back at our clientele over the last 8 years, you guys are like at the top of the list as far as business we've done with you. Um, and you guys are consistent. You know what I mean? Like, you know what you want. You're easy, but you just allow us to do what we do, and it makes our job easier. So this really isn't a business dinner. This is more casual. We're just going to enjoy a good meal, but at the same time, I'd like to talk about your experience. I mean, we can start from the very first house, you know, that we that you purchased using us. We definitely want to talk about the last one that you guys got into and how that came about, and I mean, because it's not just me, it's, you know, Stacy, it's my children, it's literally like the whole family's been involved in every process when it came on to buying or selling a home for you guys. But we just feel like we're kin at this point. We're cousins. We're family.
I mean, you know, you mentioned that like you guys, we've been with y'all for multiple times, but it's not just been, you know, beneficial to you guys. It's all of the transactions have been beneficial to us. So, you know, we listen and we're easy like how you know worded it, because we know that you guys are the professionals at it, and we're just trying to accomplish something that we want to accomplish. You know, we've always ended up with a quality product, and we've ended up, you know, always buying something and being able to sell it for more than what we paid for.
Every time.
Yeah. So, you know, it's not like it's a win. It's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
So that's why we we keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know. And then, I mean, y'all are just good to us too.
It's like taking it to the next level. We don't just sell you the house. We're a part of the process.
Yeah. Like the comfort level that I have with you guys, I wouldn't want to buy a home with nobody. It's the way that I feel when I deal with you guys. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to worry. I'm not worried about like you trying to, you know, just make something happen to make a paycheck off of me. You know what I mean?
It doesn't feel like that at all.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's just I know that whatever you're doing, you're gonna have my best interest in mind. And if it's something that I don't need to do, you know, you'll say, hey man, you don't need to do that. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, man, like I appreciate all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate y'all. Um, it's been a journey. I mean, it's not a lot of people that can say, hey, you know, I purchased and sold, let alone one house in the last 5 years or 6 years, to be able to say you're on your third one right now. That's a testament to the trust that you have and the information that, you know, that I give you, you know, because we talk about real estate all the time, right? And it always comes up. It's never like you're looking to move or, oh, I need more. That's not your attitude. That's not your mindset. It's always your mindset is, you know, is there a move that I can make that's beneficial and that's profitable, but also within the realm of what I could afford to do? Is it a good move? You know, and a lot of people don't look at it from that perspective. They're like, it's like a mono thinking. They make one move and then they think, well, I made the move, and a lot of times they miss out on opportunities just because they won't ask questions. You know, like, hey, how's the market? You know, what would you do? Like you ask me all the time, hey Ed, what would you do?
Right.
So a lot of the reason why you've made moves is because we've had conversations. And when everything is laid out, it's like the ball goes back to you, and it's like, well, what do you want to do now that you know this? But you've always come across as like you like to play real Monopoly.
It's not just a game.
It's not just a game with you. It's real life. But
It's not gambling.
it's not gambling. It's not. I'm glad you said that. It's not gambling. It's real Monopoly, but it comes from a perspective of You're very responsible with your money. You know what I mean? You're not out here wilding out or being irresponsible or living above your means. That's not what this is about. But when you've proven that when you make good decisions and you pray about it and collectively, you and your wife's on the same page.
Right.
I mean, you've just been blessed.
It's an educated move. Like, this makes sense for us. We're not just rolling the dice and see what happens. You know what I mean?
Right. And you're in unison. You know what I mean? It's like once you make the decision, you always say, all right, I'm gonna talk to Sharita. You know what I mean? And then like we end up talking the next day, and then it's kind of like then you make the decision as far as what you're gonna do.
Right.
So that brings us to the first house. So Basswood. It's Basswood, right? So we were buying a house in Basswood, and you were already under contract. We had found a house out in Fort Worth. Was it Chapel Creek, I think? I think it was Chapel Creek. It was in Chapel Creek.
Yeah, it was.
And you guys were going to build. You picked out the lot, process has started, and you're building over there, and we're building in Basswood. And then we were at a church function.
Yeah.
And after the church function, he was like, hey, Ed, what you getting ready to do? And I'm like, man, we about to go see about this house that, we started the process. Want to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And he was like, you mind if I roll? And I was like, yeah, nah, come on.
The beginning?
That was the beginning. That's how it all started. That's how it all started. And then, so we rolled out to Basswood and Saginaw, and you started to see the homes, and you realized that a lot of the homes they were building were similar to the one that you were going to build, but it was an upgrade. So it was a little bit more, but you were getting a lot more for your money.
Right.
And we had a conversation, is it worth it? And I believe it went something like, I believe it's totally worth it because, in a few years, if you outgrow this house, because you guys have a family, you have children, and at that time your babies were a little younger, so it was a good fit. I told you that you'd be able to sell if the market didn't do anything crazy for more money. Take it from there.
And that's exactly what happened. We stayed there for how long? About 2 years. We stayed there for about 2 years, and we outgrew the home. Actually, the same situation happened again because you was right. Yeah, I seen you. I was outside and I seen you passing by.
I was driving by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
All these chants.
and
I rolled down the window.
Yeah,
and you came into the car.
yeah, and I asked him, what he was doing, and he was like, we just came from looking at this community.
Right.
So, long story
What's
short,
the name of your community?
this is
The community you're in
this is
now?
Hazlitt.
Okay.
No,
Oh,
this is
Hazlitt.
in Hazlitt.
Okay, Hazlitt was next. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's right. We were looking at Hazlitt first.
you guys were looking
Yeah,
at Hazlitt.
yeah.
So we end up going out to Hazlitt and catching it in the first phase, and it was like my financial status had changed, so the house that we had, we could afford more house, and the house that we were looking at in Hazlitt, that was kind of pushing it, but it just made sense because nothing was there, and we knew that it would eventually grow. We didn't know it would grow how it did grow, but we knew that it would grow. So we ended up jumping in again the same way that we did in basketball.
Well, hold on.
Now-
back up.
I'm
Go ahead.
back up.
Get to, you know where I'm going with
Yeah.
this. All right, go ahead.
So being that I had been burned before, I didn't want to live in the house right up until it was time to buy the next house because I couldn't sell it. So that was the one time I think I went against what
So what did I suggest that you do?
he suggested that I stay there until it's time.
Good advice.
Good advice.
Scary advice.
Scary
No,
advice.
good advice.
I mean, good advice. Well,
Stay there and sell the house when it's time to move into the next house. But I wanted to get that away from me and go to an apartment and just wait for it to finish being
And
built.
know that you made the sale.
Right.
now the reason I suggested that is because I knew you were building, so that they were going to build, and I knew that build time should be between 6 and 9 months, 6 and 8 months. It took a lot longer.
It took 2
right?
years. Basically,
because it was pre-pandemic.
It was pre-pandemic, right? And when we did that, that costed us about $100K.
Well, it didn't cost you $100K. That sounds harsh, but it did. Let's put it a different way. You just didn't get as much equity as you could have.
It
Right.
hurt the same way.
But I learned. I
So
think
you can't miss what you never had. That thing's not true. Yeah.
I think I learned then that, I'm not saying that I can't make my own decisions, but I learned like if you're gonna trust someone to be the area expert, then let them be the area expert, So, but it still worked, it still
you
worked
still
out
made a
good.
profit.
Still made
You
a
did
profit.
make a profit.
And then, the next place that we went to, we made a really nice profit because we got in so early, and not only that we got in early, but we also had you guys to come and like fine tune our picks. Like if there was something that I wanted to pick or that she wanted to pick and it made sense, you guys were like, okay, I think that's nice. Versus if it was something that we wanted to pick that didn't really make sense, you guys would be like, that's not a good idea. I wouldn't waste my money on it. And like those things that, a lot of times you could take for granted and think that, oh, I could just walk into a builder's model home and build my own house. What I need to get a realtor for, but I mean, it doesn't cost us anything. It doesn't cost us anything to use a realtor while we're building. That costs the builder. It doesn't cost us. And I think that you hurt yourself if you going in to build something and think that you can do it on your own, because there's gonna be things that while you're at work doing your daily job, a realtor's somewhere in somebody's house or somewhere in a house, or you know what I mean? So it's
Gathering
like
the knowledge that you don't know.
right,
Yeah.
just the same way that I know and understand my job is the same way that your realtor is gonna. And I say your realtor, but you're my realtor, but you know what I'm saying? Like those things make a big difference. But going back, like that's where when we built the home in Hazlitt, we